Greetings and welcome to Prosperous Universe. In the previous episode we set up some sealant which has been now produced. Make sure we set up the next episode, last episode. We got some prep work done for making a food processor and a farmstead, so getting prepped for that. And we did a few purchases and set up a few sales. Let's go look at what we did in the sales in the meantime. Sales. Nope, actually market I won't even be on. Because in market I got my commodity order, and you can see, of the sales, they've actually done pretty well. We sold 6 of our BDEs at 1600 each, and we managed to sell an extra one at 1700 each. We sold one. We also sold 1,000 of we sold 1,000 of our polyethylene at 6, which was a pretty decent income for us. And we now have our remaining 1,000 sat at 7. We also have 1,000 in stock that we keep in there for production purposes. Unless we need to make some quick cash, we can bring it up needed. We also have the sealant sat there. It is currently holding at 166.7, and the reason for 166.7 is because if you do 166.7 times by 30 units, it's a nice round 5,000 sale value. Honestly, I could have sold it up. I put it up at 190 when it came out, but the market for sealant has been, there we go, has indeed been, so I put it 160, yes, so I put it 190, so it's just below there. Fair Trade came along, put it at 189.99, which is okay. So I put it on 166.7, just a nice big drop, make it valuable for people, but also because I like the round number. And Fair Trade comes along and goes, yeah, we'll go 0.7 below, because that's what Fair Trade does. That's fine, it's a business practice, I suppose. I might end up putting back up to 190 later on, but I'll leave it there because that's a nice round 5,000, so we'll leave it there. Okay, well, that being said, let's go and look. I might actually end up sending the sealant somewhere else to see if it can be sold in another planet, if we ever get around to moving a ship around. I want to get ships moving, but we don't really make anything we can ship yet, apart from water, but we're going to start consuming that soon. Now if we just move over to our production, we have 40 water coming in, we have some more BDE coming in, which we've made a few extras in the meantime, and we have our 400 PE coming up soon, and we just produced a whole batch. We just produced 800 units 7 minutes ago. There you go, you missed the little ding ding sound it makes when we make stuff. But we are actually today going to get into this screen. We actually need to include the fact that we now make our own OVE. We make our own overalls now. Also, the stock levels have changed, so we need to keep an eye on those. Actually, our current stock is 0 on that one, 0 on that one. We have 20 overalls and 20 PWOs. Okay, so we have 0 on that, 0 on that, 20 on that, 20 on that. Alright, so we're good on those for a while. We have 18 days on that and 50 days on that. Nice. Okay, but we do need to adjust the price here. The price of this one is no longer 78.9. In fact, overalls are no longer being purchased, they are being manufactured, and they get manufactured at that price. Now it does this really annoying thing when it goes to 0 because it's now a circular loop. So we need to here type in the value, and the value is 48.19, which will change the price again. So we just have to type it in just a couple of times just to round it. 47.9, 47.89, and there you go, it won't move again. Unfortunately, the PWO has actually changed price as well because of all this. It's now 146.91, which changes everything else. You are now 48.89, and it doesn't change. Good. So the price is now roughly stable where they need to be, but we also need to tell you to be in that nice little colour so we can see your green and we know you're a buying price. I may change it also, we type them in here and then they show up here, but I'm not sure yet. I'll decide that later on, if that's what we're going to do. Because right now I type them in here, but I might make it so I type them here and they pull from there. I don't know. That makes more sense to me that we type them in here. We type everything else in here. Let's look into that one as an idea. Anyway, so that's our sheet up to date right now. So our profit margins on things are actually pretty decent. Things we actually make and need to do. So that is good for us. So what do we have to do today? Well, Remember this food processor and farmstead we were going to be building and getting self-sufficient? Yeah, we're not doing that. We're going towards it, but we don't have the BVH or the BSE for that. Now here's the thing. I did join an organisation called, we're going to call it MAO, because I can't pronounce that word. Kikowiki? Yeah, Kiko. MAO. And there's 2 people on that community over on their Discord for that. By the way, if you like Discord, we have a Discord server. Come over, have a chat. We go through a lot of stuff. Please feel free to troll RJ. If you've never joined Discord, please remember we have a community member called Ranasian. He made a typo a few years ago and accidentally typed the word cannibal instead of carnivore, I think it was. So I don't know, it wasn't a typo, it was a misunderstanding of the word. Either way, if you do join the Discord, please drop in and then make a cannibal reference, because he'll be happily confused. And by happily confused, I mean he'll be confused and I'll be very happy. So if you do come off, please do that. Anyway, regardless of that, Ranasian's going to hate me so much if this one gets out to him. Anyway, we have the materials to make the food processor. We do not have the materials to make the farmstead. We have a couple of people sending ships from Autumn, I think. Anyway, they're sending ships out in about 3 hours' time. They'll be arriving, but I want to get this recording done early. Now, in 3 hours' time, they're going to be delivering. Maybe 3 hours' time. We're bringing in the 4 BSE that we need. The 4 BSE is important, but they're not delivering the BBH. But the ships have iron and limestone on board. Now we can buy iron and limestone now, but we're going to buy it at a nice expensive price, and they're bringing it at a community price, which is a bit lower than the market price. So what we do is we, in the community, if we make something like, say for example my water here, I'm putting it out and selling it around 20, but the market price is around 16. When anybody needs water, I sell it to them for basically the market price is 16, as low as they can get it. What we do is we go into here, and the water price right now, I can sell for 20. Someone is going to buy it at 19, but if they got down to say 16, we would do. So we try and sell it as low as possible, still make a profit for ourselves. It just helps everybody out that way. It's kind of cool, actually. Yeah, our PE, we sold 1,000 at 6, and there's not much note before we hit our 7 marker. So we're doing pretty good on PE. Anyway, but we now have to go and build our food processor. And I got all the materials here for the food processor ready to go. So let's bring all this out. BBH. Actually, I can build it from there, can't I? From the ship. I forgot about that. Okay, so we want the food processor up and running. So, food processor. Oh, let me build from there. I thought it would let me do that, but no. It'd be awkward about it. Boop. Boop. Put it all in the main stockpile. There we go. Alright, so, base. We can see here our drinking water and rations are running low. We're going to need to buy some of that. We have to buy it all now, actually, because we are that low. I thought we'd have a few more hours left and I'd be able to produce the water, but apparently not. So before we go any further, let's get those up done. I need 8.4 units, so I need 9 units of drinking water and 9 units of rations. So, market. This will hopefully be the last time we buy those as well. Basic consumables, drinking water. Buy 8 units at 43.5. Bada-ba-ding. Done. And rations at 62. There we go. That should have brought the base back up to about 80% efficiency. It did, yep, perfect. I still can't find a reason to use caffeinated infusion at the moment. It just seems that the production boost you get from it isn't really worth the thing. It might be worth it later when there's more machines operating, but for now it just seems like it's not worth it. Anyway, we should now have enough here to go to Pioneers and build a food processor. Just out of curiosity, are we close to getting anything else on this list? Nah. We don't really want to buy any more resources, even though we could. We're not really to get any of these up and running anyway. The infrastructure-wise is mostly just buildings for people to live in, which is great because we need people to live in them, you know. But we don't need them just yet. Yeah, okay, let's get ourselves a very nice food processor up and running. Boop. There we go. And there we go. You see, now immediately our drinking water and rations are now a bit lower because we need 10 units a day, not 8 point whatever. Okay, so that was, yeah. So we're a little bit short right now. So let's go and top those up. We need we bought 9, didn't we? So we need 1 more of each. Ugh. I hate having to buy the little amounts. It's annoying. For convenience, let's buy 2 units at 43.5 and 2 units at 62. There we go. Boop-a-dee, boop-a-dee. Now, if we look at our current bank balance, that wasn't where my bank balance is, marketplace. We still have 9,000 about. I'm going to try and keep most of that around to buy the iron and limestone that's coming on those ships. Because I'll keep a lot of that around, but we're not going to keep all of it. We need to have production running, so that's it. Speaking of production running, we can now get rid of the food processor from this list. And we can widen this out now, because we now have our very own food processor. Now, food processors can make 2 things. It can make water and food. See, it can make drinking water, and it can make the coffee, which we don't use, and it can make all the other stuff. So, in the last episode, or maybe not in the episode, probably after between the episodes, we've been building a water supply. There's no Twitter. We've been building up the supply of water, but also I bought in some maize, some nuts, and some beans. 4 units worth, so we can make 4 lots in a run. So let's do our first run of drinking water. Now that drinking water will take 2 hours 29 to go. I'm going to ask that to make 2 batches of drinking water. That will be 1 full day's worth of supply. Boom, queue that, get that moving now. That'll be ready in around 5 hours. And we also get some food up and running for our rations. Now, rations, we've gone with maize, nuts and beans. So, maize, nuts and beans. Can we use the maize, nuts and beans in this? I'm hoping we can. Beans, nuts and maize, there it is. We can do, per run it takes 10, which is currently our daily consumption. So every 6 hours we can do 1 day's worth of consumption, which is great. Now I'm going to ask you to make 4 in a row of 1s. There we go. That was a mistake because it's set to 2. No, cancel those. I think it was still set to 2 from when I did the water. Boom, there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to make the 4 rations as we go, and they'll be done every day. We can make 4 days worth of rations, and we can also make a lot more drinking water. Just got to balance them a little bit better and figure out what order to make them in, so we don't get to a situation where we ever run low. The hope is we never need to buy any actual food rations or drinking water again. We just need to buy maize, nuts and beans, which is cheaper, but at the same time, if we get the farms up and running, we might be able to get to a point where we can make the nuts in a day and a half. We can make 12 nuts. That's 12 production runs. Then maize is we can again in a day and 10 we can make 12, and then the beans take a bit longer. They use more material. There we go. But we can do 2 every 6 hours, so we can do 4 lots a day, 4 runs a day. So we can quickly have the farm producing enough food in blocks to have the food processor running well. We may need to occasionally top it up from the market, but that'll be rare, and that's just to keep things producing. But anyway, that's for once we get up and running here. We can sort of play around with the stats on them. But we do also have to fill in the spreadsheet regarding all of these, which I'm going to do off camera because I'm not sure if you kind of like it. Just let me know in the comments. Do you like seeing me filling in these? Because to me it's interesting to fill in, but I'm not sure if it's interesting to watch. But I'm happy to do all this on camera or off camera. I'm going to do the food processor off camera, but if you like it and you think it's good, then we'll do the farmstead on camera, and we have a lot on there. I will ideally only be making 3 things on the farm, but there's also a possibility we make something else for an export purposes, or even like the cotton fiber. We can do that for making. We can make cotton fiber. I think we can make cotton fiber. Oh, we need the hydroponics for that. But we can make. We actually just make that. Oh wow, we can make even that as well. So we might need to start making around. But let me know. Do you like seeing this filled in for this sort of stuff? For extra processing of food and stuff. Okay, but we are now making our own drinking water, and the drinking water costs us. We run the water through there, and we run water, and it runs there. So if we look down here on our water cost is 0. So actually, our food cost is 0. Now it does have a low price, of it has a low price of production, but that production price is based on the cost of making it, which is mostly time. When we get the drinking water running, the drinking water is going to cost us basically that price, because drinking water, the water raw material is free, and I'm going to get to a point where if we can make the rations if we can make the rations and the drinking water and the overalls, and we can make the PWO, which is padded work overalls, all in house, our production price is going to be so low because, for example, the drinking water right now we're paying 45 for drinking water. Well, actually we're not now. In fact, we can make 20 drinking water in 5 hours. Okay. Well, if we can make if we can do drinking water every 2.29 hours, 2.3 hours, that means our price of drinking water way down. So we'd say, okay, well, we'll take the running costs of that. That's our only cost for making the drinking water raw material, and that is a raw material cost because it is the cost it does take to make it. Then we pop that into our drinking water production, and it kicks out a value which tells us, yeah, your drinking water costs this much to make. Then we put that in, but that's going to be a lot lower than 45. I mean, the raw material cost is 4, and that takes 5 hours. So our drinking water production is going to be around 2. Put that together, you're looking around 5 to 7, and that's going to go down even more when we suddenly take out 45 out of the equation. So that's going to get even lower and lower. So you get the idea, it's going to become almost super cheap to make it. And if it gets to the point, actually, where our actual drinking water and ration prices is entirely down to the cost of the we can't make PG and we can't make COT just yet. So we can't make polygranulate and we can't make cotton, but we can make everything else. We can make the PE and the RCO. On top of that, for the PE we need to buy the high helium and the carbon. It gets to the point where the only costs in these values will actually be the raw material cost of hydrogen, carbon, polygranulate and cotton. So our running costs are going to be these materials, not actually anything to do with these, which is kind of weird and wacky, but it's going to be interesting to see how it all adds up with the spreadsheet and stuff. Anyway, I don't plan on doing any more purchasing today, so let's go and put in, that's today's date. We now have stock wise, it's just stock. We are now at overalls 19, PWO 19, so you're now at 19 and 19. Drinking water and rations are being entirely consumed. Please don't tell me you it's a negative. You're not good. You're level off. All right, we're at 10 on our now consumption. So 10. Our OVE is now at 1.3, and our PWO is now at 0.5. That will up our costs. So let's see how these have changed, shall we? OVE 49.66. 49.68. No, not that one. 49.68. There we go. And PWO are at 148.36. 148.37. And OV is at 69. So yeah, 49.69. Boom. I mean, it is low decimals. I won't get down to try and 5 examples. I'll just get the price close, and that's about as close as you can get it. Okay, so right now it looks like we're going to run out today, because today's date is the 18th, and it does look like we're going to run out today. And quite frankly, we will run out today, but it's not because we just fed everybody like an hour ago, less than that more likely. So we're actually going to run out in 23 hours. The thing is, we're producing now, within 23 hours we'll be producing our first set of drinking water, 14 units worth, and our first set of rations, which will be enough to feed everybody for a day. So we're actually now already at the point where we don't need to supply any of the food. These values here would be immediately done. So just to get this up and running, I am going to do just the first 2 of this sort of requirement. So if we run that across there, and we need to adjust prices anyway, paste that there for a minute. Yeah, that one's it's gonna be a bit more awkward, so I just want to get that out of the way. I'll do it off camera because it's gonna be awkward to set up the 3 and the 1 and stuff like that. Off there we go, but you are the one I want because you are the one that has a single on it. You're gonna be the DW when I get you up and running, and your colour is grey, right? DW, yeah, you're a brownie grey. You know what? No, just copy that. Just copy that. There we go. Your material is H2O. Wrong O. O. There we go. Right. That gets all that amount you need. So I just want to get the DW and the rations, the first ration done, so we can get the idea, and I'll do the rest of it off camera. But the DW, the one we're actually producing, is that one. It takes 10 water. So amount is 10. The cost is not 0. The cost is actually not 50. Why are you saying 50? Okay. H2O is at 5. We need 10. Yeah, okay, 50. That's fine. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, so I was confused myself by the way those 2 numbers are the same. That's fine. That's our cost. So our drinking water is now 11. Wow. We also need a 3-pointer. So you, congratulations, you get to come down here. All right, you are our rat. And you know what? I'm going to copy the rat from up here because it's just easier. Rat. You go there. Okay, you can't do that. I need to be the light grey. Light grey. Grey. And takes colour of black, please. Automatically should do it. There we go. Okay, your raw material. I'll do the colour coding properly later. Your raw material for the rations we are currently working on, which is beans, nuts, and maize. BEA, NUT, MIA. Yep. Alright, and you need 1 of each of those. Now, there's no current cost of these, which fair enough because they actually don't exist yet. BEA, NUT, and MIA. Now, current cost of those we'll get in a minute, but let's get the times right. So to make this this one, 6 hours 12 minutes. So you will be 6 hours 12 minutes, and you, the water, my friend, the water, 2 hours 29. There we go. Okay, so they're set up nicely. So let's get our prices up and running so we can see what things are going to be like. So beans. How much does it cost us currently to buy beans? Marketplace, please. Agricultural products. Beans. Well, maize. Maize is there. We could buy maize right now at 1242. Maize. 124.2. We can buy nuts. Nuts at 119.49. And beans. Why are they not in alphabetical order here, which is really confusing. Beans. Selling for 118.99. Okay, so we now have our costs of making the rations done. And we get out of that batch amount. Okay, batch amounts, that's where it gets important because we need to know those. New order for the food processor. For drinking water we get 7. For the rations we get 10. There we go. So that's our basics up and running. We haven't got any prices here for that. They're both going green because there's nothing to compare against, but they'll change when we put actual like sale values and stuff in. But that's our production costs right now. So if we were to say, hey, we can do drinking water for 9.79, DW equals drink. Scroll the cost, right? There you go. Drinking water, there. No, okay. No. Go back. The other way around. You should have pointed that. Okay, DW. Just put your 45 in there, 65 in there, just so they don't go to the weird zeros. You should be that value. And our rations should be that value. Alright, so rations. Let's get you colour coded up into the nice green so we know who you are. Green, 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 green. And same with the DW. DW, DW. There we go. Alright, so if you come up here now, let's just look at the actual running cost right now. To run this base per day costs us 1200 credits per day. Right now. So let's just do 1238.78. That's our current running cost per day. Okay. Now you can see our prices are really high on these. So if we were to turn around and say actually drinking water is running at 9.79. And actually really 7.01. Right. Perfect. Now if we turn around and say we'll do the other one, I'm just going to do this a couple of times. So where's our rations? They're now at 34.88. Now they're at 31.18. So we're just going to round those down to 30. And say the water now, the drinking water's down at 4. Okay. So we can see we can keep tweaking these numbers down. So the overalls here, overalls are now down at 42. And PWO is at 142. Numbers aren't exactly accurate just yet. I'll be tweaking those around later on, but you can see how that has brought us down to a lot lower on our profitability scale now. We can now sell stuff at a lot lower value and still make profits on them. Even to the point where, let's see, you're not quite at market maker prices on these, but that one is. Look at that. We can sell that so cheap now. Okay, so you get the idea. We've now these here should all be in bright yellow to say, hey, these are now our own produced stuff. We don't make coffee and we don't use it, so it's not really affecting our cost right now. Our biggest cost right now is still rations at 30. But yeah, so just look at these prices: 3.68, 3.65. Oh no, nah, no, not you. 3.64. We're taking guesses here because the number's going to keep tweaking. You're no longer there. You are now at a dead 30. Ooh, good. OVE is now at 42.83. And then PWO is 42.82. 142.82. That pushes the price of these up slightly, which is good because that means I'm getting in the right direction. And then you have 30.002. So there we go. So numbers are slightly out. I'm just being a bit pedantic here with my numbers, so don't worry about it. But numbers seem to be leveled now. And there we go. We're now costing us 464.02 per day to run this entire facility, and just for manpower. But we were paying 1,200. We are now substantially better off than we were. Okay. Yeah, it's getting good, isn't it, guys? These numbers will change again soon once we get the food processing running, which means these prices come down even lower, because right now we're buying in these values here. So yes, that's going to be interesting. These are all red, by the way, just for anybody who's wondering. They should be a deep red colour, like that. So I think we should have white text on them because it makes it stand out better. Boom. There we go. There we go. So one thing I want to ask you today is, could you tell me, do you like seeing this setup? Because if you do, I'll do the rest of them on camera for the food processor. No, food processor, for the farmstead. But I only want to do them on this camera if we need to. Ooh, pioneers. How many pioneers do we have, by the way? How many pioneers do you take to operate? Building base. I didn't actually look at those numbers. The numbers are actually wrong right now. Current population is 250. Doesn't change these numbers, it just changes these ones at the end. Which is big, it actually affects all of these numbers. And then we have the The building itself, the food processor takes 40 people. I had it at 30. There we go. So that adjusts all the costs, you see, because I mean, like these, this time here. B53. B53 is that one. Oh, they cost, stuff cost there. We need to repatch you from K. Where are you linked to? Oh, right, yeah. K53 down to K51. 51. There we go. And you will do the same. You're need to get it to 51. Interesting. There we go. So you're now set there. Your prices are now more accurate. And we could go around and tweak these prices again. I'm going to do those off camera because our prices have gone down. Oh. Okay, so basically we're now much more efficient. Our still biggest cost right now per day is still the rations, which, interestingly enough, cost us 300. They're the most expensive thing by far, and they're going to go down to almost 0. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. Anyway, let me know what you think of the chat, of the build right now, and anything we should be looking into for the future expansions. I say our next expansion is going to be a farmstead. That'll get our prices even lower. Now, we will get to a point where we'll need more food processors and more farmsteads because we just need to have too many people that we can't maintain on this set. But that's what expansion is about. So we're getting to that point now. But here's something we haven't done for a long while. If we go to our market and we say we're going to end the video at around 30 minutes, it's a lot longer video than I was expecting to do, with 9,714 credits. 9,714 credits. 495 on the 18th of the 6th, 19. Look at that. That's our first time since the start of the base. We've had a nice high number there. So are we doing good? Okay, so let me know what you think of the the sheet, what you think of the layout of the base we're building, and yeah, all the normal stuff. But until next time, comments in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye.